2K Sports pregame show.
Greetings, NBA fans. Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson, and seated beside me, Kenny the Jet Smith and the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Our featured matchup tonight in Chicago, where the Bulls will be going up against the Detroit Pistons. Well, for Detroit, they're looking to come out strong and make their mark early. They have to look at this game as a great opportunity to do just that. Taking a look at the changes for Chicago with the departure of Tom Thibodeau. Just how big of an impact, Shaq, is his absence going to be on this team?
First of all, it's not a departure. He was fired ungreatly. These people fired him. Anyway, they enjoyed great defense all the years under Thibodeau. They were built around defense and rebounding, and I think that might take a step back.
Well, the one thing that Hoiberg is going to have to fight against is success already. And so the measuring stick and the bar, kind of like Steve Kerr, if he can have that kind of success. Mark Jackson raised the bar. All of a sudden, he was fired, and then and Kerr came in and wins a championship. Can Hoiberg have the same type of success as Steve Kerr had? This will remain to be seen.
No way.
Of course, Fred Hoiberg, known as the mayor. Would you want to be a politician, Shaq?
Well, I'm a politician, Ernie.
I was about to say. He's the.
What do you mean you're a politician?
I'm a senator, I'm a mayor, I'm a janitor, I'm all of that.
A senator, a mayor, and a janitor. That's a politician.
How about you? I'm still trying to figure out what Shaq just said. How about you? You want to run for political office?
I just want to run from the cities that he's the mayor, the janitor, and of those
I got
cities.
you, baby.
I'm running away from those
You
cities.
consider yourself a politician, Shaq.
Of course I am.
What office are you holding?
The office of Icy Hot Mayor. Man up, Ernie.
Another endorsement.
Please, somebody come and get me. Kevin.
Starting at small forward, at 6'9", number 34, Mike Dunleavy. Starting at the other forward position, at 6'9", number 22, Taj Gibson. And at guard, 6'3", from Memphis, number 1, Derrick Rose.
It's an all-Eastern Conference matchup in today's game as the Pistons come into town for this one. We're live at the United Center where the Chicago Bulls have home court advantage. The NBA on 2K Sports. Thanks for joining us this Sunday afternoon. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony, and on the sideline tonight, Doris Burke. So Detroit will get the first possession. And now the opening lineup for Detroit. Jackson and Caldwell Pope, the guards. Marcus Morris is out there with Andre Drummond, and it's Harris in at the small forward.
And really, the Bulls weathered a lot of injuries last season and still had a good showing in the East. Came away with a 3 seed when many thought they would sink down after missing so many games from key players.
Now here's Butler, following the miss by Marcus Morris. That is good.
And his presence as a scorer, it just has a calming effect for the rest of the team. He's a fallback option whenever they need one.
Now here's Jackson. He kicks it to Morris. And Caldwell Pope now atop the key. And too long on the shot. And the Bulls did end up with the 3rd seed in the East, 33 of their 50 wins last year, Clark, coming in the Eastern Conference.
But it wasn't an even distribution of those wins for the Bulls. Against their own division in the Southeast, they played 500 basketball. They got their good in-conference record from feasting on the Atlantic teams, taking 16 wins in 18 games against that division.
Here in the first, a little over a minute played so far.
Still scoreless after 4 attempts, trying to take the lid off the basket.
Outside Rose. Takes it from 10. Here's Gasol, and they convert it last on attempt number 3.
Defensively, that possession better not start a trend because they just handed him 2 points.
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a number of empty ones, a long time without a basket.
They got to find some, you're right. Now here is Harris. Back to Drummond. Tries from 10. And off the front iron, and in it goes.
And boy, did they need that one. Their first make in the 5 field goal attempts they've had.
Here's Rose. Rose with another miss.
And there was a question of whether or not Derrick Rose would be able to get back to his former self. At times last season, you could see him back in that MVP form.
And it's good. First quarter of ball, almost 2.5 minutes in. Outside Butler. Right side Gasol, and stolen by Harris. An even 3-on-3 break. Can't get it to go. Some solid defense from Butler. The Bulls have gone 2 of 5 here, making 40% so far to start out the game. Rose goes in, shot's good. Rose has got his first 2 points.
And he's starting to get what he wants here early and often. Nice move.
It's tipped. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
That was just a perfect possession, getting it in tight for the high percentage shot.
For Chicago, they've gone 50% from the field, hitting 3 of 6 since the opening tip. Gibson down low, covered by Morris. That's good.
I tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
It really has, and they've created a lot of high percentage shots in the paint here already.
Now here's Jackson. There's the pick. The feed to Harris. Harris missing again.
His touch has disappeared on him this quarter. He just hasn't been able to get it going.
Rose. Jackson with it. .156 left in the first quarter of the game. 5 to shoot. And it's Harris off the drive. Harris missing again. Detroit had a hard time making shots consistently last season. Clark, not a good shooting team from the floor. And of course, that's in this league, it's going to kill you.
Yeah, it really will. I mean, at one point last year, Kevin, 3 of their 5 starters were in the bottom 10 in terms of players' field goal percentage. I mean, hard to win any game that way.
And now the first timeout called here for Detroit.
And the Pistons will finish in the bottom 3 in terms of team shooting last year. But for the most part, their shooting did improve over the course of the season.
So Chicago ends up going with the new group. And a different look here for the Pistons. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for Drummond. Tolliver comes in for Marcus Morris. Johnson, he's checked in for Harris. And it's Jody Meeks in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Here's Baines, 14 feet away. Good, he hits the jump shot.
And, you know, for the Pistons, they really had nowhere to go but up. I mean, shooting under 43% as a team is more than worrisome. I mean, it's something they'll have to drastically improve going forward.
Now here's Moore. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. Chicago was as strong as they would have hoped for last season at home in the United Center. A lot of big wins for them here.
Yeah, and despite all the injuries, they go 27-14 at home, and that helped to assure them of home court in the first round of the playoffs.
First trip to the free throw line for him in this one.
And of course, we'd all like to see his percentage at the line improve, but he just does not have the touch right now. He's in the 60s.
And I know he's got to be upset at himself for shooting so poorly at the line. So I would think he'll be doing everything he can to bring those numbers up.
And he sinks the second.
You know, you look back on the Bulls' record last year with 27 home wins. That's pretty solid. Same exact total as they had the year before. They haven't gone below 500 at home since 2008.
Now here's Johnson. Outside Jackson. To the left wing. Tolliver kicks to Baines. Fades away. No good. And it's Chicago the other way.
And a big part of why the Bulls are tough at home is this crowd. I mean, sold out every game last season. Led the league in total attendance for 6 straight seasons, averaging over 21,000 fans per game.
Now here's Jackson. There's a good screen. There's 25 seconds left here in the first quarter. Kicks to Tolliver. Lets it go with a 3. Meeks can't hit. Chicago leading. Now here's McDermott. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Brooks, left side. Unloads. And again, Chicago, no good. So at the end of 1 quarter of play, still a close game. Bulls lead by 2. And we'll be back in just a moment with the start of the second quarter. And the Gasol brothers, both starters in the All-Star game last season. It's the first time that's happened in NBA history. Pau talked about the joy of sharing the NBA stage with his brother Mark.
It's like a dream come true. It's hard to really picture it. I'm just proud to be Mark's brother, and I'm proud of what he's become as a basketball player and as a man.
Well, their story is a bit like a fairy tale, the way 2 of them, sons of medical professionals in Spain, have become 2 of the best centers in the NBA of this era.
Yeah, and especially, Kevin, when you remember what a raw talent and how big and bulky Marc Gasol was when he was drafted by the Lakers, who traded him to Memphis for his brother.
Well, up to this point, a closely contested game as we start the second quarter. And taking a look at Chicago's performance here, guys, what have they been doing or not doing?
A lot of tough D being played by them so far. It's been the difference maker.
Greg, no uncontested shots for the most part. That's why they've had success.
And Detroit, looking at who they've got. Jackson and Caldwell Pope, the guards. Harris is out there with Marcus Morris. And it's Drummond in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. And that's out of bounds. Chicago will retain possession. Pau Gasol is checked in for Chicago. Dunleavy comes in for Mirotic.
Pau Gasol. Mike Dunleavy.
Here's Gasol. Pass to Holiday. Back to Gasol. And some nice ball movement here by Chicago. Jackson kicks to Harris. And the go-ahead bucket, no good.
I still can't believe that one didn't fall.
And Marcus Morris is nicknamed Mook. He has a twin brother, older by 7 minutes, named Markeith. Both brothers played at Kansas, drafted 13th and 14th in the same year. Eventually played for the same pro team. That is joined at the hip.
Just lazy defense on the glass there.
Well, nobody boxed out. Nobody put a body on anybody else. Things like that not only drive the coach crazy, that stuff gets under my skin.
Here's Caldwell Pope. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Morris passes to Jackson. Just 4 to shoot. This one for 3. The rebound by Holiday. And looking at the Morris brothers' careers through last season, the one area they haven't been joined at the hip in is in performance. Markeith has shown steady improvement over his first 4 years. Marcus Morris has had a very up and down start to his career.
And you know, Kevin, Marcus has talent. He has versatility. He just hasn't found his role. It's time for him to step out of his brother's shadow and really establish who he is as a player. And guys, Reggie Jackson was at the end of a yo-yo last season. He starts at Oklahoma for an injured Westbrook. Westbrook comes back, sends Jackson to the bench. Then Oklahoma sends Jackson to Detroit, where he fills in for another injured starter in Brandon Jennings for the rest of the year.
Jimmy Butler, he's checked in for Chicago. Now here's Rose. 7 points in the game. Not that time. It's off. He's 3 for 7. 3 on 3. Morris dishes to Caldwell Pope. On the mark with the 15-footer. And now just a 2-point Chicago lead. Now getting back to Jackson, he showed several times last season that he has that starter ability. The Thunder knew they wouldn't have the money to re-sign him, Clark, in free agency, so they traded him to avoid losing him for nothing.
Yeah, that's a good move. And with the Pistons, Jackson finished the season strong, while the Thunder, without Jackson or Durant's contributions, missed the playoffs for the first time in years.
Here's Rose after the basket by Detroit. Butler up top. The 19-foot shot. They get it back. Here's Gasol. Up and in. Off to an efficient start. 2 for 3 from the field.
Those are the kind of nice inside looks they've gotten in the first half here.
And I think they should continue to work the ball down low, Clark. It's really going to free up their outside shooting.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. It's incredible to think that Pau Gasol last year set a career high in points in a game for as long, Clark, as he's played. He had that 46-point game in January.
Yeah, that's 46 points for Pau to go with 18 rebounds. I mean, you rarely see a player of his age putting up a career high like that.
And started hot, and he's only gotten hotter.
Here's Butler, and he gets that one to go off the front iron. Butler's got 6. And in the second quarter, a little under 3.5 minutes played already.
And with Powell, that 46-point game, he became the oldest player to get 45 points and 15 rebounds. Fantastic ball movement. They're picking them apart with their passing.
Purposeful passing it is, partner. Their last 10 points have...
Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful jam.
You know what? He wasn't going to wait around for any help on that break.
Solo soiree performance all the way. How about that for a little bit of a limerick?
I'm going to let it slide.
That was a nice replay brought to you by Kia.
Nice effort anyway to change his shot and get around the defender maybe next time.
Drummond the screen. And it's Harris off the drive. Rebound by the Bulls.
His shot's just, it's not there right now. With his team leading, perhaps, let's focus on some other areas of the game.
Puts it up from 12. Gasol with the defensive effort. The Bulls have gone 5 of 11 from the field since the beginning of the second quarter. McDermott's checked in for Chicago. Then for the Pistons, Anthony Tolliver. He's checked in for Morris. Johnson comes in for Tobias Harris. And it's Jody Meeks in for Reggie Jackson. Now here's Butler. He's guarded closely from 8. Shot no good. The Pistons go the other way with it. 1:14 left in the first half. And guys, Andre Drummond has made quite an impression in the early stages of his career. Clark, you were just talking about that. Greg, I don't think anyone felt he would have such an impact this fast.
Yeah, I mean, he's already a mountain of a man among boys. I mean, hard to believe when you look at this guy out there. He's only 22 years old.
And that free throw, no good.
Going back to Andre Drummond, some say there aren't any true centers entering the NBA these days. But I look at Andre, I look at DeMarcus Cousins, Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, and I think to myself, what are these people talking about?
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Gasol. Mirotic comes in for Taj Gibson. And Moore subbed in for Butler.
And talking about Andre Drummond, I remember when he fell to number 9 on draft day. All sorts of experts were making excuses as to why. But even then, there was this eerie feeling that some teams had made a huge mistake in passing on him. And that feeling turned out to be correct.
Joakim Noah at the line for the Bulls, 2 shots.
That one is off. And last year, not exactly up to Noah's lofty standards. Was way down in field goal percentage and free throw percentages. compared to the season before, but he did not play completely healthy all of last year either.
A little dinged up, missed 13 games more than he had the season prior, and also the minutes dropped as well. And you could just see him laboring at times on the floor, clearly affected by those injuries.
And, you know, going back to Noah last season, I think the additions to the Bulls front court had an effect on him. I mean, they added Gasol and Mirotic, two major talents up front. I think that gave Noah less opportunities than he'd had the year before, and it was an adjustment for him.
Yeah, good job to take it right at the D.
Yeah, really left him no choice there, Greg. I mean, he had to foul and keep him from converting the easy bucket.
Doug McDermott.
And guys, talking about Joakim Noah, he was still the spirit of that team last season. Amongst all the great talents the Bulls had, Noah was that energizer and catalyst for the team, a true warrior, even in an off year.
And McDermott drops them both.
And that's the norm for him. He's pretty much automatic when he's at the line.
They set the screen. Here's Meeks. That's in, and he found his range with that one. Now 1 for 2.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
Brooks kicks to Moore. Back to Brooks. Here's Noah. Goes up again. Brooks misses.
Terrific job that time defending at the rim. I mean, it's not an easy task stopping that fella when he's headed to the bucket like that. Good job.
Launches a three, and Caldwell Pope gets the basket. Now it's a 5-point Detroit lead.
And when he's got that much of a height advantage on the perimeter, it's really tough on the defender. Easy three-pointer.
And we're through the first half of basketball here, and what's been a good one. Pistons ahead, up 5. We're going to step away briefly, but get you right back out here for the start of the third quarter after our halftime.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Well, 2 quarters down, 2 to go. Welcome back. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny the Jet Smith as we start breaking it down for you. It was a closely contested first quarter for Detroit. Some good moments from both teams, but as the first period wrapped up, they trailed by 2. They started to take control of the game in the second quarter and pulled away nicely, heading into halftime up by 5. Kenny, what's your take on Detroit so far?
I love the way they took care of the basketball. They displayed good patience, strong decision-making, sharp passing, all of it. This is why coaches say, make the right play, not the spectacular play. Well, unless the spectacular play is the right play, that's fine. But don't give away possession. That's the moral of the story.
And Shaq, what'd you think about Chicago?
They're giving up way too many good looks. You want to keep your opponent under 50% shooting? They have not done that. What's the solution? Maybe more ball pressure, more physicality down low. Whatever it is, Ernie, they need to figure it out.
And now, folks, it's just about time for the third quarter to begin. We will see you after the final buzzer.
So it's Chicago now. It's a 5-point game, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the second half of basketball. So the Bulls 5 right now. Rose is the 1 with Butler is the 2. Gibson is the 4 with Gasol at the 5. And it's Dunleavy in at the 3 spot.
Pau Gasol was the number 3 pick back in 2001. He managed to average 18 and 9 his first season, was Rookie of the Year, became a perennial All-Star. There's no way his younger brother Mark, who was a second-round pick, could ever match up to that, right? Not so fast, people. Mark's pretty good, too.
Here's Rose. The shot misses. Some solid defense there from Jackson. Detroit leading by 5. Pass to Drummond. Dishes it to Harris. Back to Drummond. Gasol with the rebound. Gasol's got his 6th rebound on the night. Talking about Pau and brother Mark, both of them were excellent last season. The difference is that Pau has always been considered a great prospect, so detractors are much harder on him when they see cracks, I think, Greg, in his game.
Yeah, you know, for Marc Gasol, it can only exceed expectations because they started out so low. I'd simply say that if I had to pick between one or the other for best career, I'd do everything I could to pick both.
Good way to get out of it. Good answer. Here's Rose. He has 7. Third quarter of basketball, about a minute and a half in, and it's sent back by Drummond. Gibson against Harris. Morris with a screen on Gibson. Gasol with the steal. Outside Gibson. Out to the wing. There's Rose with the 3, and the foul called on Pau Gasol. That'll be his 2nd foul of the game.
And the shots just continue to say no in terms of falling.
Portis, he's checked in for Taj Gibson. 2 minutes into the second half of play now.
Timeout. Timeout. Start it.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. Derrick Rose has certainly piled up the awards for such a young player, starting with Rookie of the Year, with 111 first-place votes to only 5 for the runner-up. We know about his MVP, and that just shines out so brightly for him.
And how about he and Michael Jordan, the only MVPs in Chicago Bulls history?
It's good, and the Piston lead is cut down to 5 on the bucket from Pau Gasol.
A splendid pass that time by Rose.
And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
In the break, guys, I listened in on Stan Van Gundy's huddle. He made no mistake that their plan was to run their offense through Drummond. Coach reminded his guys that he is the centerpiece of their offense, and he's the one they want with the most freedom to operate. Those are likely not the last adjustments they make today, guys. There's still time left in this one. Back to you, Kevin.
And as always, Doris, thank you. So he comes up empty at the line.
You know, looking back to Rose's MVP award, his stats were on another planet that year. He was only the 3rd player to record 2,000 points and 600 assists in a single season since 1973. The other 2, LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
And I like how he puts himself in position there to finish on the break.
Yeah, you know, that's what we call seeing and feeling the game. Excellent read of how that play was going to develop and where the ball was going. That's stuff that you oftentimes can't teach, Greg.
Justin Holiday's in for Mike Dunleavy.
You know, in talking about D-Rose, I don't think the individual awards mean much to him. He's about trying to help his team win championships. And that's the kind of mindset he has to continue to display.
When you can make adjustments to the shot in mid-air and midstream and still knock it down, you know you're flowing.
Outside Jackson. Feeds it to Harris. It's good. The assist this time from Jackson.
Let's go.
Jackson's got 4 assists now tonight.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Everybody on the same page, completely in sync. Tremendous communication and awareness.
He seems to have just lost his touch. Only 1 for his first 5 here in the quarter.
He dishes it to Morris. Elbow shot and off the front iron, and in it goes. Morris has got the lead up to 8 now for the Pistons. The Bulls have gone 4 of 9 from the floor so far in the 3rd. Here's Gasol. It's in, and he's a very efficient 5 for 6 on the game.
Some defensive breakdowns are starting to show up now. Their last 4 buckets allowed have come from very close range.
Yeah, high percentage shots are what they are getting in terms of the attempts, and that's just not going to get it done. They've got to figure it out.
To the inside, it's stolen by Morris. Here's Caldwell Pope. It's rebounded by Portis.
They've been the better rebounding team by a healthy margin, but it hasn't been enough.
Yeah, you know, they're hustling and giving a good effort, that's for sure, but unfortunately, the execution has been lacking.
That's the 10th straight point they've given up in the paint.
And you know, it doesn't matter how good your defense is on the perimeter if you're going to allow easy ones inside like that.
Out to Harris. Takes the three. Good. Harris has got 5 points in the quarter.
You know, for the past few seasons, guys, Detroit have been a team that struggled to punish teams from the perimeter. Last year, that was not the case. They showed dramatic improvement in being a threat from behind the arc.
Yeah, way to get there first and be willing to absorb the contact.
No question about it. No flop there. That was a direct shot to the chest.
So, Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. Joakim Noah's checked in for Gasol. Mirotic comes in for Portis. McDermott's checked in for Butler. And Brooks subbed in for Rose. Detroit also making some changes. Anthony Tolliver. He's checked in for Morris. Johnson comes in for Tobias Harris. And it's Jody Meeks in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And Jackson gets it to go.
Give an assist there, not for the pass, but for the solid screen set on the inside that freed him up and made the layup possible.
Holiday, the pass to Mirotic. And Holiday, here we go. No good. Good D by Drummond.
Oh, excellent interior D to force the miss.
His defensive ability is a big factor. I mean, there's no denying that.
Pass to Meeks. He feeds it to Johnson. Drummond dishes to Meeks. And he can't extend the lead to double digits.
No one to blame on that one but himself. You get looks like that, you've got to take advantage.
The drive by Brooks. It's good, and the Piston lead is cut to just 7 on the basket from Joakim Noah.
Really nice job to convert the putback opportunity there. I mean, he stayed with that play from start to finish. That's something we say about him a lot.
Now the pass to Drummond. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time. And 12 points for Andre Drummond. Up in time. Oh, he hits it! Oh, how about that shot?
Big time! Big time!
Incredible!
Wow, what a miracle heave to finish off the quarter. How'd he get that one to go?
I don't know, but I think that's a 2% shot. He'd make 2 out of 100 of those if you gave it to him.
All right, we welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. Pistons leading by 6. And on the floor for Detroit here in the fourth. We've got Johnson. Reggie Jackson out there with Jody Meeks. And there's Anthony Tolliver. And it's Baines in at the 5, roaming the paint. Noah kicks to Brooks. The 11-footer. They grab their own miss. Noah takes it into the teeth of the D and converts the layup.
You know, the first shot defense has been pretty good, but they've been getting beat way too often with the second and third chance.
Yeah, great point, Clark. That last line of defense is your ability to secure the backboard.
The dish to Meeks. Chicago grabs the miss. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession.
You know, that's hard to explain that play. I mean, I guess he thought he had more room than he did.
So for the Bulls, Jimmy Butler, he's checked in for Mirotic. And it's Rose in for Aaron Brooks. Then for the Pistons, Morris is checked in for Tolliver. Harris comes in for Johnson. And it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in for Reggie Jackson. And it's Chicago with the rebound. Noah's got his 5th rebound in this one. Here's Butler, and it's Chicago scoring again.
Big time bucket there, and you can expect to see him stay very involved the rest of the way.
Meeks passes the Baines to the paint. Here's Morris, and the layup is good after a nice lead pass. And the Pistons lead by 6.
Boy, they are passing the ball very crisply right now.
They really are, and their last 3 buckets have come by way of an assist.
That's good. We're just over a minute and a half now into the 4th. And Meeks kicks to Harris. The feed to Caldwell Pope. Now, here's Meeks. He's covered by Rose. 5 to shoot. Puts it up. Will not go. This is off the front iron. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. Now just a 2-point Piston lead.
I like the fact that he led his teammate right to the ideal spots. You don't always throw it to your teammate. You throw it to where he needs to be.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over.
Really impressed with the way Jimmy Butler last season made big strides in his game, going from a supporting role player to someone you can build your team around.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Over that last break, Kevin, I got a chance to hear what Stan Van Gundy said to the team. He told them, this is it, fellas. Let's hit them right out of this timeout. Put some pressure on them. Show them how much you want it. Let's go get it. Guys, he's really exhorting them to give them a burst of energy.
And Jimmy Butler had the career highs across the board last season. Won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Really picking up his production in his 4th season.
You know, we had seen the flashes of potential in Butler before. Last season, he sustained great play and really took everything to the next level.
To tie it up. No good. And it's Detroit the other way. And just about 3 minutes through the 4th quarter here, Meeks dishes to Morris. From outside, off the mark. Here's Dunleavy. He's guarded by Meeks. Butler goes in. And all win that time before dropping in. Butler's got it all tied up now for the Bulls. Meeks passes to Morris. And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Bulls.
I'll tell you what, they've hit the boards hard in this one, and it's led to an abundance of second-chance points. I mean, they've gotten a lot of second-chance points.
And also, how about the points they've gotten in transition or on the fast break tonight? That's been a huge factor as well.
The first free throw is good. So for the Pistons, Andre Drummond comes in for Aaron Baines, and Reggie Jackson subbed in for Jody Meeks. Both shots good from the stripe. And we're about 3.5 minutes into the 4th quarter. Rose attacking. Rebounded by Jackson.
They came close there to tying it up.
Yeah, you know, and after the way they fought back into it here in the 4th, that would have been a big bucket for him. Great job to hit his teammate on that move, Kevin. They've been committing a lot of turnovers, and I imagine that's exactly what they're talking about right now. They need to tighten it up.
They can't guard it.
No calls timeout.
Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing. Spacing.
Bulls trail by 4. Outside Rose. Fires high post. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
And since halftime, he has just been ice cold. Just can't seem to get anything to go his way.
Morris outside. Got a piece of it. Gasol with the steal. Stolen by Jackson. And stolen by Butler. And Gibson, here we go. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
No question about it, Greg. I mean, a ton of contact and a good call by the official.
And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Pistons.
Fantastic passing. We saw it in the first half, and it's carried over here in the second.
They've also jumped on any opportunity they've had to attack the basket tonight. I mean, excellent penetration.
And both free throws good for Dunleavy.
That was essential that he cashed in on those free throws. They're within one possession.
Now a timeout called by Detroit.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
Drummond the screen. The three ball. Detroit, no good that time either.
He's still looking for his first three-pointer of the second half after making just one in the first.
And Gibson kicks to Gasol. It falls for the sixth time in 7 tries this contest. That's 86%.
Perfect execution. The size mismatch was there, and they went right at it.
Not only perfect execution, how about perfect timing, too?
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over.
And they need a timeout, Kevin. They haven't been boxing out like they need to, and they're giving up a ton of second-chance points.
.137 left in the fourth quarter. Jackson dishes to Drummond. It's hauled in by the Bulls. Gibson's got 4 rebounds now tonight. To take the lead. And there's the nice layup by Butler. Butler's got 6 here in this quarter.
Great move to get to the rim. I think they're going to take the aggressive approach down the stretch.
Drummond with a screen on Rose. Jackson drives in. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in. Jackson's got the game tied up here for Detroit. Bulls have gotten more than 58% of their attempts to go down for them in the fourth quarter. They're 7 of 12. Butler and a foul on the shot. He'll go to the strike for 2. Andre Drummond picks one up.
Talk about being on his game. Look at the numbers for Butler. He has 12 points, and he's come up with a couple of nice steals today, too.
Clark, just a very energetic brand of defense.
At the line for the Bulls, 2 shots.
And no good as the first free throw missing for him. We'll see if he can nail the second. And the second of 2 is good. That gives them the lead.
Yeah, disappointing not to convert all of them, but he did get the one to give them the lead.
Drummond a screen. Jackson kicks to Caldwell Pope. Inside, Drummond, and lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
They had a foul to give there, but you'd rather not have it cost your team points.
I agree. I mean, you would have been better off using it on the floor and not on the shot. But the foul had to come either way, so it is what it is.
So the first one drops, and that ties the game up. Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one.
They should be in front right now, but he'll be relieved not to have come up totally empty there.
Chicago with the ball. Rose passes to Dunleavy. He kicks to Gasol. From 11 feet away, it falls!
That was massive.
You know it. He's stepping right into the spotlight there.
What a big possession right here.
No doubt about it, guys. The tension is palpable.
7-second difference, shot and game clock. Caldwell Pope pushes to Drummond. Detroit, no good that time either. They're going to prolong the game here with an intentional foul.
Had to foul, and on that occasion to stop the clock. That's the enemy in this situation.
And you know what, Greg? Who knows? A few misses at the stripe, and they're right there within range. You know, late game free throws are a lot different than early game free throws in terms of making it.
All right now, gentlemen, roof shot. Roof shot.
Good on the first, and that makes it a 3-point lead. And he cannot convert on the second. That misses.
A three-pointer would be huge right now.
Boy, a chance to tie it up with the game on the line. This is what we live for. I want to see what happens right here.
From deep. No good. And so the big win by Chicago in a tight game. That was a fun night of basketball and fabulous finish as Clark, they continue to wait out until the very last moment to seal it.
Yep, and it might not be the way a coach would have drawn it up or wanted it to end, but these fans loved it.
And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Gentlemen, I'm here with Pau Gasol. And Pau, what's the mentality that you bring into a game to allow you to be at your most effective rhythm?
Well, I just got to come out really aggressive, just trying to find the boards, just forget about the shots that I can miss, or if I don't get a certain amount of touches, I just got to be aggressive and I got to get in the paint. So that's how I'm most effective, and that's what gets me going too.
Well, you certainly got into a great rhythm, Pal. Thanks for the time. Guys, over to you.
All right, Doris, thank you. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan, along with our entire 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. So long, everyone.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Thank you, Kevin. And now we get a chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Pau Gasol. He put up a new season high tonight. And if he keeps shooting like he did tonight before the season's over, he might top it. A big key to his team's victory here.
Just a sensational performance on a lot of levels, Ernie. Too many levels to talk about. Man, in some game, he's in the background. He doesn't get the chance to be the star of the show. But not tonight. He's the star tonight. Put him on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Boy, how many times are we going to see Pau Gasol come out and control a basketball game like he did tonight? This guy who for years has been a mastermind of the low post game. Points, rebounds, assists. You're going to get it all from Pau Gasol on the block, not to mention his veteran leadership.
And that wraps things up, folks. Thanks for joining us. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the rest of the 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. Good night, everybody.